Just waiting for Lilo to give us the green light. Okay, we are live.
Welcome, everyone. My name is John Arbos. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Board of Public Accountancy. We will now play a short video on how this virtual meeting will be conducted.
Welcome to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting.
When the meeting begins momentarily, the chair will take a roll call, explain any specific rules for this particular board, and then move to public comment. The name of the board member will appear on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. For instance, this is board member Y, and this is board member E. Public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. You can indicate that you are ready to testify by clicking on the Raise Hand button being circled by the mouse on your screen now. At the appropriate time, the board will recognize you to speak and ask you to unmute your mic as shown here. Again, public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. Public attendees will not be able to unmute their microphone until recognized by the board. Public attendees who are recognized to testify will be asked to identify themselves by name and their affiliated organization if applicable. Please mute your microphone when you are finished speaking as a courtesy to others and members of the board. Public attendees will not be able to unmute themselves after the testimony is completed unless recognized again after raising their hand. At some point during the meeting, the board may choose to move into executive session. When the board moves into executive session, the board members' microphones and video feeds will be turned off, and a similar screen as you see now will be displayed. When the board returns from executive session, their microphones will be turned on as well as their video cameras.
Welcome again to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting.
At this time, the chair will call the meeting to order and take a roll call, as well as explain any additional rules that may be specific to this board.
Thank you. If connection to the meeting is lost for more than 30 minutes, the meeting will be continued on a specified date and time. This information will be provided on the board's website. Instructions to attend State of Hawaii virtual board meetings may be found online, also listed on the board's website. I will now take a roll call of the committee members. Members, please respond by saying here and if you're alone at your offsite location. Alex Smith.
Here.
Wendell Lee.
Here.
Robert Karahara.
That's you today.
Zach Johnson.
Here, and I am alone and in a non-public location.
And Isabella Gary.
Here.
We have quorum, at least 5 are present, and I will call the meeting to order. It is 8:35 a.m. Agenda item number 2, minutes of May 29, 2026. Is there anyone who would like to provide oral testimony on this agenda item? We need someone to move to approve the minutes of the May 29, 2026 meeting.
Wendell, so moved. Alex, I'll second.
Okay, having moved in second, I'll call for a vote. Alex Smith,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Zachary Johnson,
Yes.
Isabella Gary.
Yes.
Passed. We'll move to the next agenda item, the executive officer's report. Next on the agenda is the application section.
Oh, hold on.
Sorry.
Yeah, for the executive officer's report, since the two industry members, their terms expire on June 30, 2026. The governor appointed one industry member on July 6. However, that individual has not signed the oath of office yet, and that individual is off island. So that individual will be coming in today, sometimes today. So hopefully he will be joining us on the next the next meeting. So that's already been confirmed by the governor. And we also have another industry member recommended by our former chairperson. And that individual has filled out the application. We're waiting for the governor's confirmation. And hopefully if that goes through, both of them will be confirmed at the 2027 legislative session. And so we will only be looking for another member, public member. We should have, if we have all those three, we'll have 9 full members.
Awesome, awesome. All right.
Will they be able to attend before the?
Yeah, if the one that was appointed by the governor, if he was able to sign in the oath of office before today, then he could have joined today. But he's off state, and I haven't physically met him. I just talked to him over the phone. But once he signs that, he's promised to come in sometimes today or next week to sign off on it. It has to be notarized. Once that's done, then we can schedule him to attend all the future meetings. And then sometimes in January, he just has to attend the Senate's confirmation. And once they confirm him officially, he'll have another 3 more years to join us.
All right, thanks, Hector. So next on the agenda is the application section. Can we get a motion to move into executive session to discuss application?
Wendell so moved. It's Alex, I'll second.
Having been moved in second, we'll move into executive session. I take a roll call, right?
Yes.
Want to vote, right?
Yeah, we'll take a vote. Okay, so I will take a vote to move into executive session. Alex Smith,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Zachary Johnson,
Yes.
Isabella Gary. We will now move into executive session.
Zach is back. And just before we start, I just wanted to let you know that there's a hand raised. Catherine here has her hand up, and we can address that after you just give a summary of what we did in executive session.
Okay, okay. So, out of executive session, and next on the agenda is the application section. Seeing that there's a hand raised, we can take your question now.
Okay, I'm going to ask her to unmute.
Hi, yes, I received a deficiency notice for my CPA application on 7/10. I had submitted my application in May. My deficiency notice states that my transcript on file does not provide my degree, which is inaccurate because all three of my degrees were provided, the transcripts were provided by Parchment, and I wasn't even allowed to take my CPA exams until my education had been reviewed and verified. So I'd like to ensure that my CPA application is reviewed today by the executive board and not delayed until the September meeting.
Yeah, Catherine, this is Hector. The deficiency was because the one that we received, the transcript that we received from the college, you submitted 3. The one that you listed where you got your bachelor's degree, the one that you submitted does not show confirmation, conferred. And so, yes, the licensing branch did send you that. And if you can send a parchment showing, then we can add that to the next review process. Because right now, when we review the applications, we make sure that all degrees have been conferred. Yours did not show that. So, and that's the reason why you received the deficiency. So if you're saying that your copy has it, send us that copy and we will look at that. But
Oh,
again,
that's inaccurate. The copy I sent did have it
that's
on
the
there.
one you
I
submitted.
highlighted that.
Yeah,
And
Catherine.
I also sent testimony earlier this week that provided all of the documentation,
Oh.
and the parchment has already been submitted and been on file since July 2025. Delaying my application 3 months delays my employment and my opportunities. There's no reason that the board shouldn't be reviewing my application today because you delayed to look at it until last week and then didn't take the time to review the additional information that I submitted this week.
Catherine.
That's unjust.
Sure. Catherine, all applicants are submitted to the licensing branch. They don't submit the full packet to us, the board, until the full application is complete. Not just you, but all applicants must be complete. All the documents must be submitted. And then when it comes to us, we review to make sure that that applicant met all the qualification. And in your case, it did not show. But if you're
No, you're saying that I need to submit it by parchment, which was already done in July 2025.
and
So there was
again,
an error on your part.
okay, I'll check
And
with the
I'd
licensing
like that
branch.
corrected today because I'm not waiting 3 months to have my employment affected because you did not review my application properly.
No. So Catherine, thank you for jumping on here and doing this. I think what Hector's trying to address in this is, and we don't want to get too much into what the deficiencies are, but we acknowledge that it's a frustration for you, and for that, we apologize. The board, to get a completed review packet, it has to pass through an administrative process. So we don't see the packet until it's completed. We wouldn't have any information at this point today about your packet. It's not in front of us. We don't have that. It has to pass the state administrative process before it gets to this board for review and approval. The timing of the board meeting is the timing of the board meeting. And so, we will do this as expeditiously as the law allows us to. And so I think the best thing is, if there's a chance here, kind of to square what it is that you have, and we will do our best to make sure that the next available opportunity, your packet can be reviewed. It doesn't sound like it's anything other than probably some sort of an administrative misunderstanding, whether that's on our end or on your end. So we want to make
It's
sure.
on your end.
Okay,
It's
then
on
that's
your
fine. And then we can resolve that and we'll get this done as quick as possible. So
What is as quick as possible then? Does that mean that it won't be until September until my application gets reviewed? Because that's completely unacceptable.
I understand that. That part of it is not in the board's control because the administrative process has to go through the state before this board receives the completed packet. So we won't get the completed packets. So the answer to your question, unfortunately, is not something I can give you a date on. All I can say is when we receive a completed packet, the next available meeting, we will consider your application. And so that's the best offer we can give as far as what the board allows me to say.
So is there then a process where I can file some kind of a protest to ensure that my application is filed, should be approved earlier because it should have been approved this board meeting and it wasn't because of an error on your part?
Using application.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure that process exists. I think for the purposes of this, so as far as, a remedy for you or what you'd like to pursue, as far as the complaint, I think the process exists. I would just say from where we sit, the quicker we can get a completed application to us, the quicker we can consider your application. So if you can work with the state in the administrative process to get that application completed, we will consider you as soon as possible.
And how is that supposed to be done? Because when I called to discuss this further, there's no public information that's allowed to discuss with the people who are reviewing the applications except for an email address, which I've used several times and doesn't get checked apparently on a regular basis.
I just want to be crystal clear. The review of your application happens after the completion of your packet. And I think what's happening is your packet is not completed, so we're not able to review it. We're still kind of on step one. We have to complete the packet first. And so that's where it is. And then we can move to step two, which is consideration of your application.
Yeah, so Catherine, just to make sure, so the deficiency that you received, just reply to it and we will review it. And the minute that we have it complete, then of course your application will be forwarded to the board because the board does not see applications until they are complete. So it's not you. It's
And the
all
only way to reply, right, correct, is through the email address. There's no other way to reply. Am I correct in understanding that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Super frustrating. I understand you all are not in charge of that, but I'm just saying it's just super frustrating process. Like really, really, really frustrating that an application gets submitted in May and it's not until July 10th that they're saying that there's a deficiency when the board meeting is July 17th. That is so, it's unjust when someone's worked as hard as they have to get through the CPA licensing like all of the requirements. It's just ridiculous. There's no reason that like, especially when it's a deficiency that doesn't exist.
Noted. And thank you,
Thank you.
for your time. So for item number 4, is there Anyone who would like to provide, anyone else who would like to provide oral testimony on this agenda item?
Being no further testimony, Chair.
Having seen none, we will move to approve the applications, in this process. So the motion will include, Section 4, all applications, 4A, everybody with ratifications of CPA's permit to practice that are noted in the agenda. Section B, approval and firm and trade names, noted in the agenda. C, CPA applications, as noted in the agenda. And D, military and military spousal temporary professional licensing. Can I get a motion to approve Section 4, A, B, C, and D?
Isabella Gary, I'll move.
This is Alex, I'll second.
It's moved in second. We'll now take a vote to approve Section 4, A, B, C, and D. Alexander Smith,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Zachary Johnson,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
and John Arbels. Yes. So having been moved in second, it'll be passed. We'll now move to agenda item number 5, election of chairperson and vice chairperson pursuant to HRS 463G6A. So again, is there anyone who would like to provide oral testimony on this agenda item?
Being no public testimony, Chair.
All right, so I'll open it for discussion. We have to nominate.
I nominate John Arbus as chair.
Any other nominations?
Second.
Third.
All right.
You just handled that one very well, so
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'll say is this, I'll say this, I don't mind doing it, for a year. The only issue I have with doing this is I live on a different island and I'm against adding more work to DCCA staff. And I know administratively it's a challenge because I have to go back and forth and sure, right, to do this, it's a little bit more. So I would just kind of urge everybody to consider, I don't mind doing it and then that's fine. But I want to make sure, we kind of address, that part of it. So.
And whoever it is that you guys vote on, I will be sending you always a script before the meeting. Normally I send it a day or 2 days prior, so at least you know, and there will be you know exactly what to go through. So I'll be sending it, whoever is the chair.
So, nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Wendell Lee.
A second.
Report it. All right,
So
so,
except
all right.
I'll help John out, especially that I'm here. Yeah.
And in fact, whoever is going to be the vice chair, if the chair is out, I will send the script to
Big
the.
print now, yeah.
I print them in red.
All right, so,
Let's vote.
thank you, Wendell, for doing that. We appreciate it. I know we're a small group, right now as far as quorum. So it's good. Thank you. We appreciate this. So, we'll take a vote. So can we vote on the nominations for chairperson, being myself, vice chairperson, being Wendell Lee? So can we get a motion, to approve chairperson and vice chairperson, John Arbels and Wendell Lee?
This is Alex Smith. I make the motion.
Isabella Gary, I'll second.
All right, having been moved in second, we'll take a quick vote. Alex Smith,
Yes.
Wendell Lee,
Yes.
Zach Johnson,
Yes.
Isabella Gary,
Yes.
and John Arbels. Yes. So, with that being passed, thank you guys, for doing this. The next meeting is scheduled on September 18, 2026. This meeting is adjourned at 9:06 a.m. That's a record.
Good job, Chair.